Okay, the last video I did was I don't understand people. And I made a reference to procreation in women. And I will say it's not anything analogous to my ethical or moral thoughts. However, it's what or why I believe from study why people do what they do. So in the comments, you know, not that it was anything horrible, but I heard people make statements, and it was one statement, not my daughter. So it just got me to thinking. A lot of people want to say, my daughter wouldn't do that, or my son wouldn't do that, not my child, or my daughter wouldn't do that. I'm repeating myself. However, think about it. Every woman that you see who does something that you don't approve of is someone's daughter. So, be it if they're in a strip club on the pole, being if they're um, a physical intimacy worker, a sex worker, being if they're in the adult film industry, they were somebody's daughter. So I want to ask a question. No matter how you raise your child, I don't care if you come from a two-parent home, a great community, you went to a, an Ivy League school or whatever, people are free to do what they want to do when they reach adulthood. So let's say uh, to you, who is a parent, you raise your child to the best of your ability. How do you stop them from doing what they want to do? How do you stop your daughter or son or whoever from committing something that you think is atrocious or not representative of your parental upbringing, of your raising your child? How do you stop people from doing what they really want to do? Now, I don't think you can. I think no matter what, some people are going to do what they want to do regardless of how great their parents are, regardless of how great their advantages in life are, their networking, their education, their job opportunities. I do agree that it's much less likely for people who are brought up in two-parent homes or uh, brought up in a loving, supportive environment to do things that their parents don't approve of. However, there are plenty of cases of people who had great upbringings that went opposite of what their parents wanted. There are plenty of women who grew up with a mother and father who loved them, who took them to church every day, or kept them in physical activities that their children end up, be it a man or a woman, um, having children before they reached the alleged age of maturity, which is 18, or before they reach 21. Um, and there's nothing, what can the parents do to stop them? How do you stop people from doing what they want to do? How do you get your children or people in general to do things or to stop them from doing things that may not be advantageous to them later in life? And I'm not sure if we can. Now, we can have discussions, we can have dialogues and talk about it and say, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. But still, your child has to go out in the world and experience life on their own. And no matter how great a parent you are, like I say, when men and women get together, things are going to happen. So, can you really separate your children from someone else? I mean, it's almost impossible. Sooner or later, most parents are going to have to work. Sooner or later, you're going to have to trust your child, and peer pressure is, if not, I don't want to say palpable, peer, peer pressure is real. The influences of your peers can get you to do all type of things, and you can even put people in great environments with great peers. Still, they can be subjective to uh, the whimsical ideas of other adolescents, other children. So is there really any way that you can prevent, that you can stop your daughter or son? Let's go to the daughters. Your daughters, if she wants to get on the pole, or she's um, somewhat risque and she wants to partake in some type of activity that you want or you don't want, I should say. How do you defeat that? How do you mitigate it? And I don't think that you can. You just try to be the best parent that you can be. However, I'm never going to be one to say, not my daughter, because Even though I don't have children, I would hope my daughter wouldn't do that. But I know lots of young ladies and men who I think were raised great, but they all end up either having babies at an early age when they weren't married and weren't financially ready, or um, they end up doing something that put them in the system and was detrimental for their employment future, or they end up engaging in some type of activity that limited their future, uh, or it changed their networking. So, I just find a lot of things curious what people say and how they think about things. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just asking the question. Um, if somebody does something, says your child does something that you don't approve of, do you stop loving them? Like, what if, you raised your child and growing up their child was normal? Then once they became an adult, they said, okay, dad, mom, be it a man or woman. I don't want to be a man or woman anymore. I want to change. I want to transgender. I want to go to it. I want to be considered they, he, she. What do you do about that? This is the questions I want to ask people. I hear so many people speaking, and I know that people have a belief. You feel this is wrong. I'm not trying to change me for nothing. I want to stay Charles, but maybe you want to be someone other than you. And does that change the way that you love someone? Do you love them less? Does disapproval, the disappointment, cause you to not love? Are you going to say, I'm never going to talk to you again in your life? That's the question. Do you think you can stop your child from going down the wrong path? I could make some hell of a jokes. I got a lot of jokes in my brain, but I'm not going to do it. You could have people who you don't think are cognitively astute who still aspire to greatness. You have a lot of people who are doing things that the conservative or the normal conventional person wouldn't approve of, but they're rich. And our views, I believe in general, are always subjective. You may not want your children to curse, but it's all good if she listens or he or she listens to some type of music or some type of comedian or watch a movie where they speak in a way that may be uh, prerogative or derogatory, and it becomes cool. You can sing these songs, but you can't say it to me. So I just think a lot of things are funny. How do you really stop people from doing what they want to do? You can't. I don't care how great a parent you think you are, and I think a lot of stuff is innate in people. I think that uh, you can mitigate it. I think you can advise. However, uh, children are still always going to make their own choice. I knew at an early age that children are a financial um, responsibility, and I never wanted to have to limit my life to pay for children until I felt that I was financially ready. And today I still don't feel like I'm financially ready. And everybody says you'll never be ready. Well, then maybe I should never have children. Now, I'm not opposed to children, just like I'm not opposed to a lot of things. Just like I think anything uh, can take your income. So the whole point is for me is trying to get money to work for me. And I love children. I think children are wonderful. I love women. I love people. However, I don't want to just have to spend money and give up things. Not that I'm not opposed to sacrifice. I just want to spend money when it's going to be a struggle. If I can't give you the advantages of life, if I can't make sure that at 18 I can give you a buffer, a leeway, um, a cushion for you to be able to survive in this world and set you up with networks to get you into an advantageous position in life, then I don't want to do that. So this is my question. I don't know if I made it make sense. I didn't even really go hard at this. I just think that um, you should always think about what you say when you say, not my daughter or not my son. You don't know. You can hope for the best, you can pray for the best, you can do what you want, but your children are still going to do whatever they want to do. And there's nothing you can do to stop them. unless the fear of uh, immense pain is enough to stifle their ambitions or intentions. But it is not what it is. So she's having a baby. And you're not even 18. What you can do like like Tupac. It doesn't really matter because you're still a black queen. I'm sorry, I'm just being a little silly, but there's nothing you can do. You can just hope for the best. And I don't wish any ill will, and I'm not opposed to what people do. I just try to understand it, and I want other people to think about things. what should you do? What could you do? She's going to be a mother. I'm done. That's some silly stuff at the end, but hopefully you get the gist of it. Have a great one.